Hey, well, this is me. This is how I look now. It's morning and I'm wearing a hoodie sitting here. Decided, well, what a perfect time to do my parents' DNA to show you the results, which is quite interesting because I have noticed on 23andme my parents' DNA has changed, and well, it's funny because they have been, doing changes before for free in, the DNA and updating it. And now, because they have the V5 chip and they want to keep selling to you, the amount of Chinese, which my dad has a very good amount of Chinese because my grandfather is born in China, is 100% Chinese. All of a sudden, that they had changed the amount from it being Chinese to it splitting with Vietnamese, which is really curious because this is the same time where they're asking if I want more accurate results. The V5 chip is $150 and I could pay $150 and get better results, they're saying from them. Well, I paid you to get good results. If you're going to keep doing this, I don't know. But anyways, I will show you their latest 23andme update that I got from the website for my dad now. And I uploaded the same 23andme raw file data to Wegene because they're an Asian DNA group, just to see the comparison as well. Now, my dad had 23% Chinese before, and now just in time for them to ask me for $150 if I want to upgrade it for better results. They split my dad's Chinese percentage with Vietnamese. Now, who knows about Vietnamese, but I do know my grandfather is from China, and he was the first person who came out of China. So I don't know, but it's still just suspicious that they split that just in time for, to ask for the upgrade money. Anyways, it shows. As for my dad, he's 61.7% East Asian category. Chinese and Southeast Asian being 60.8%. Here's what they just added in. The Vietnamese, 12%. They lowered the Chinese amount to 11.3 with 5 different regions. Indonesian, Thai, Myanmar, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing those right, 9.2%. Chinese Thai, 1.5%. Broadly Chinese and Southeast Asian, 26.8%. And broadly East Asian and Native American, 0.9%. Okay, and being that my dad's grandmother was South Asian, Indian descent, this is not a surprise. But Central and South Asian, 27.6%. Central Asian, Northern Indian, and Pakistani, 25.8%. Bengali, Northeast Asian, 19.7%. Central Asian, 0.7%. Broadly Central Asian, Northern Indian, and Pakistani, 5.4%. Broadly Central and South Asian, 1.8%. Anyways, 27.6%. Let's just make that easy. Now, the Sub-Saharan African is 9.7%, and that also makes sense because my dad says one of his grandfathers had some African. I'm trying to just make sure I have this right. I do believe it was one of his grandfathers or great-grandfathers who was African. So that also sounds right. And in the region, because it was from my grandmother's side, not my grandfather's side, but his mother's side, that's where the African was, and it was, I think they said that area is usually Western African. So that all makes perfect sense. Okay, and after I took the 23andme, the raw DNA, and I did upload it to Wegene, they're an Asian DNA ancestry company, because they're known for getting more information break down on your Asian genes. They're horrible European, and but as for Asian, they're considered pretty good. So here, let's take a look, and I'll show you the difference from Wegene and 23andme. And Wegene has never asked me for keep asking me for more money. That's ridiculous. Sorry, I think I have a beef with them now. Hey, with 23andme. Okay, so here's Wegene, which is a Chinese DNA testing company. With DNA, their results for Asian is more accurate than 23andme. Even when I go into my dad's DNA with them, they're right. My grandfather, like I said, is born in China. He's from China. He's 100% Chinese from what we know. And he is a Southern Han Chinese, which it does say so right here, 48.29%. It says for Chinese, altogether he has 54.95%. They just break it down in the region. Southern Han, 48.29%. Lahu, 3%. Others, 3.66%. But that is what, my dad knows, and my grandfather's even birth certificate, and we know from his travels. So that is definitely more accurate than 23andme. South Asian, they have 24.46%. Sin, Bengali, Indian makes up to 24.46%. They do have African, which is 8.35%. Now, 23andme, they put West African, and they put it up in, I guess it was names of the different various countries. While Wegene, they put Yoruba. I'm not too sure. I haven't checked what Yoruba is, if it's a tribe or what have you not. But I don't know if Wegene, how good they are with African DNA testing. I have, for my dad, Northeast Asian, Japanese 5.19%, Southeast Asian, Thai, and then it says some others, 6.29%. There is where you can also, if you at the bottom, open up all ancestry compositions, and it does have a little bit more of an insight there, like with Oceania 0.71%, which is like part of their, I guess, small discrepancy that they had there. And now for my grandmother. My beautiful grandmother, well, from what we knew of her, her grandfather came from Germany as a missionary to Guyana. So she would be, I guess, white, black, and there was Amerindian, which is like native South American Indian there. So that, before 23andme, that's what we knew, and that's what, our records had showing. As for my grandfather on my mother's side, my mom basically last saw him when she was 2 months old, for whatever memory she had of him. He left during the war. Long story. Maybe one day I'll go through the long story about my grandmother and my grandfather's relationship. Won't do that now because it's just on DNA. But what we knew of him was that he was Asian and there was some black in him. So there was Asian and there was also some black. So that's as much of his history that I personally myself know of. My mom probably knows more, but that's my own personal history of him. And now for my mom's DNA results. So a mix between my grandfather and my grandmother. Once again, you know what? There's a lot of things that I myself am trying to work out with my relationship with my mom. Many people think that it's my dad or my dad's family that may have something against me, but it was the total opposite. Um, People think, well, my dad must have loved my sister because my sister, being that she looks very Asian, and then they always concluded it was, oh, the little one must not be his favorite because she looks black. While my dad's family, they never emphasized on race. They never made a difference on race. My grandfather, who was fully Chinese, never experienced that at all with him. Um, I'll keep the, you know what? Subscribe if you want to know more about the relationship with my mom there, because I could go on and tell a lot of things in detail, but I'm not going to do this. I want to just try and keep it to DNA for right now, because my mom has, like, I could, if I really think about it, I know I would break out crying, but my mom has, since childhood, done and said a lot of really hurtful things to me. And yeah. So anyways, let me just get back into the DNA before I start crying. But here it is. Let's get on to my mom's DNA results. Okay, so Sub-Saharan African, it says 47.6. West African is where I see most African DNA from Guyana is. There's 14.4% Nigerian, Ghanaian, Liberian, Sierra Leone 14.1, Senegambian 1.5, broadly West African 9.5, Congolese and Southern East African 3.4, Southern East African 3%, Congolese 0.4%, and I'll let you read those. They're like 3.3, 0.3, 3.9, which is broadly again Sub-Saharan African. Her East Asian Native American is 37.8%. It says Chinese and Southeast Asian 35%. And then it has the breakdown: 10.1% Chinese, 4.7% Vietnamese, Indonesian Thai 2.7%, Chinese Thai 1%, Filipino and Austronesian is 0.2%, broadly Chinese and Southeast Asian 16.3%. The Native American would be South American, Native Indian 1.4%, which we already also knew from my grandmother on her side. Broadly East Asian Native American 1.4%. And then there's the European 11.8%. And I don't know, I could do the breakdown. I feel tired. Now I think I took a pause actually when I was doing this, so that's why. There's trace ancestry 0.4 and unassigned 2.4%. Okay, so soon we're going to go over to her Wegene results, which I uploaded the 23andme raw data from. Okay, so for African, what they've how they've placed it is her African is 49.96%, Yoruba 46.63%, Batusa, I don't know if I pronounced that right, 2.89%, and then there's the one that's 0.44%. Her Chinese is 24.93%. It says mostly Southern Han, which is 21.20%. And then the other 3.73%. It shows here European 13.38%. And I don't know how they got her European, shows French 7.81% here, Hungarian 3.92%, and then the miscellaneous 1.65%. Her Northeast Asian shows 5.82%. Japanese 5.82%. Both my dad and my mom, both on their Wegene, by the way, have Japanese. Southeast Asian is 1.9 is sorry altogether 3.66%. It does do the breakdown, and then they have the miscellaneous where then you go into the all ancestry composition, which they had broke that down, being basically the 2.24% when I went into the ancestry composition detail, was Mayan 1.32%, Native American 0.67%, and like I said, that complies with what we know with my grandmother there with the Native South American Indian. Well, one thing to also let you know is with the 23andme, like I said, it did matches up with already known relatives, like relatives we already know and consider our cousins. And it did find relatives who contacted us, and my mom, she knows her ancestry really well. She was able to, match them and also figure out what part of our family tree they're from. But thanks for sharing, letting me share my ancestry, my parents' ancestry results with you. And, subscribe and hit notifications, because trust me, this might be serious, but I'm usually not serious. It's cold outside, and I guess I've just been feeling grumpy because cold weather makes me grumpy, and I've just been a little off from my usual self lately.